be displaying the attendance functionality in the system, so both teachers and admins can access attendance. However, admins can access attendance for all classes, whereas teachers can access attendance only for their own respective classes. So first we're going to check students in Maths A. So it has 3 students right now. When we press attendance, this is on the class page. It shows us the attendance page where we can open a session date and open the register for that session date. We can choose. If you try to open the register given no with empty inputs, it tells us to please fill out this field. So now we're going to try something. We're going to try open up a valid date. So let's say 13/01/2025. And what we can see is it shows us the class, the date, the mark attendance, and we can see how many students are present, the status of each student, whether they're absent or present, and you can then save attendance, change the date, or go back to classes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark students as present. So I'm going to mark Adam Smith as present, and I'm going to set Bella Jones to absent and Carlos Herrera to present, and I'm going to save this. When I save this attendance, we can see the present changes to 2 out of 3 and the status remains. And now what we can do is we can go back to classes, let's say, and I'm going to reload the page. I'm going to go back to attendance and let's see if the change is saved. So we go 13/01/2025, and what we can see is the same changes remained. So it's 2 out of 3, Adam and Carlos remain present, whereas Bella remains absent. So a change has successfully worked. So now, just in case, let's make Bella Jones present too. And let's see if a change saves. So now we've done this, we've pressed save attendance, we go back to our classes, and let's see if the change saved. 13/01/2025, and you can see 3 out of 3, and our change has saved, and Bella Jones is now saved as present. Now I'm going to press the change date button, and what you can see is it just redirects us to attendance page for that class, and we can just open register for any session date again. So now I'm going to show what happens when you try to access the attendance page for a class that has no students. So English A has no students. So now we're going to open up the attendance page, 13/01/2025, it could be any date. And what we can see is because there's no students, it just shows status, nothing, and the table is completely empty. There's nothing there, and there's no students present. Why? Because there's no students, so there's nothing to mark. So you can go back to classes, and then we can, let's just in case, we can see the attendance for Maths A again, see if it's still the same, and yeah, we can see it's still the same. So now I'm going to see if teachers can only access their own class attendance. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as, let's say, Jay Wilson. So no, sorry, not Jay Wilson, but I'll log in as James Wilson. So let's log in as Jay Wilson. So let's log out. So let's do Jay Wilson. So password 123, and there we can see it's worked. And now you can see this is our students' attendance. So teachers can only see their class, therefore they can only mark attendance for their own class. And then we can just do session day 13/01/2025, and what we can see is the change has saved. So whereas on the admin page we marked as attendance, we can make this change, and because it's our class, you can just mark them absent again. It doesn't matter. It has been saved back to my timetable, unlike the admin's page where it shows back to classes or students. So now we can see that we can only, from a teacher's login, you can only access the attendance of your own class, whereas admins can access the attendance of any class. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to access the attendance of another class that isn't ours. So this is a class 1 attendance, but this class is assigned to, of course, James Wilson. Let's try log in with Sarah. So Sarah Ahmed, password 123, and let's see. So she, of course, has her own attendance for her class, but let's see what happens if you try to do it for the old class. We copy the URL. That was the attendance for class 1, which was James Wilson's maths class. What you can see, we get a forbidden error as, of course, Sarah does not have access to that class. Therefore, it cannot mark the attendance for that class as it's not assigned to it. So this works. Now we can log out, and we can log out and go back into admin account, and we can see the change that we made to the maths class from James Wilson has now saved. You see here? Yeah, it's now 2 out of 3, just like we changed it from there. But also admins can see the attendance of any class really. So we could have done any 2 on this. So even if we did class 2, which was the other class, we can see we can mark English A, or we can just go on attendance here and you can see it. But yeah, that's all.